Hello and welcome to Spectrum News at 12. I am Rachel David White, coming to you live from the beautiful hills of Ibiakuran. Let's take a look at the headlines. President Muhammadu Buhari seeks Senate approval for adjustment to 2022 fiscal framework. Senate passes Peace Corps bill again, okays creation of Hunters Council. Indonesia passes long-awaited sexual violence bill. Details of these and other stories in a moment. First in our news is a report that President Muhammadu Buhari says the country's bid to expand its maritime territory under the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea is fully on course. This while receiving a progress report from the Presidential Committee on Nigeria's Extended Continental Shelf Project in Abuja. He said the bid would be achieved without war, litigation, or purchase. The President assured the committee, chaired by the Minister of Justice and Attorney General Abubakar Malami, of his report on Nigeria's submission to the UN for additional maritime area under the recognized international convention. In another development, President Buhari has sought Senate's approval for adjustment to the 2022 fiscal framework. The request was contained in a letter read during plenary by the Senate President Ahmed Lawan. In the letter, President Buhari explained that an adjustment to the 2022 framework became imperative in view of new developments in both the global and domestic economies. President Buhari said the developments were occasioned by spikes in the market price of crude oil due to the Russian-Ukraine war. In the meantime, President Buhari has declared the killings of Plateau State as heinous and vowed that sponsors and perpetrators of the crimes will be made to face justice. The president's disapproval for the incident was contained in a statement by the spokesman Garba Shehu. President Buhari ordered law enforcement agencies to work with the government of the state to bring the situation under control and take steps to quickly bring the culprits to justice. The president asked that peace should be returned to all cost to the state and the entire country as a matter of priority. Away from that, President Buhari has directed the Minister of Agriculture, Abubakar Mohammed, to release over 40,000 metric tons of assorted grains from the strategic grain reserves to Nigerians. Confirming this, the minister said the decision was not unconnected with the war between Russia and Ukraine, which has impacted the importation of essential grains from those countries. He listed other remote factors that may have also accounted for the presidential directive as economic hardships being faced by Nigerians. Elsewhere, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has formally briefed the Senate, All Progressives Congress (APC) caucus over his presidential ambition and sought their support. The briefing, which has part of Osinbajo's consultations with critical stakeholders, was held after dinner of his official residence at Aguda House within the presidential villa, Abuja. The meeting was held behind closed doors, but the president of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, who led the APC senators to the villa, told reporters that what had actually transpired. Lawan said the vice president told them that he has expressed his interest and that he wanted to consult with the Senate APC caucus. In a separate development, as the 2023 general elections draw nearer, the federal government has reiterated that the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is committed to the freedom of the press and is not and will not be a threat to the media. The Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, gave the reassurance when a delegation from the International Press Institution, Nigeria chapter, paid him a courtesy visit in Abuja. He said Nigeria has one of the most vibrant and free press in the world, and the administration was not about to stifle press freedom or deny anyone his or her constitutional guaranteed rights. He clarified that some people have misconstrued the government's effort to ensure a responsible use of social media as an attempt to tamper with press freedom or threaten independent journalism, emphasizing that the government does not harbor such intentions. Meanwhile, federal government has declared Friday, April 15th and Monday, April 18th as public holidays to mark the celebration of Easter. The Minister of Interior, Ralph Aregbesola, made this known in a statement by the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, Dr. Shuaib Belgur, urging Christians to emulate the sacrifice, togetherness, forgiveness, kindness, love, peace, and patience exemplified by Jesus Christ's ministry on earth. Aregbesola solicited prayers for an end to insecurity across the country. The minister assured the people that the federal government was working to ensure that the recent attacks on the highways, airport, and the railway were brought to an end. Away from that, the federal government has approved 3 new federal polytechnics as part of efforts to make tertiary education more accessible in the country. The polytechnics will be sited in Umanechi, Abia State, Orogun, Delta State, and Kabul in Kano State. According to a statement by the Director, Press and Public Relations, the Federal Ministry of Education, Ben Gong, the new institution are to commence academic activities in October. This brings the number of federal polytechnics in the country to 36, with all states of the federations now having 1 federal polytechnic each. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has resolved to investigate alleged disappearance of transit buses provided by the federal government for transport services within the FCT. This followed the adoption of a motion by Representatives Ikenna Eleniya in plenary in Abuja. Moving the motion, Elezianya noted that the provision of long buses in Abuja, apart from creating jobs and generating revenue, was targeted at alleviating the sufferings of the citizens. He added that the provision of the buses were designed to ease the commuting challenges of civil and public servants to ensure effective discharge of their duties. On the legislative matters, House of Representatives has passed a bill to ban the appointment of non-custom officers as Controller Generals. The bill, sponsored by Leke Abejide, was considered and passed by the House today. Speaking on the synopsis of the bill, Abejide said the Principal Act had become obsolete because no major review had been done since 1958, when the law was first enacted. It could be recalled that the incumbent Controller General is a retired military person who was appointed by President Buhari in 2015. To the judicial matters now, where the Supreme Court of Nigeria in Abuja has affirmed the 6 years imprisonment imposed on a former federal director of pensions, FDP, John Yusuf, and also ordered him to refund 22.9 billion naira to government covers. The sum was reportedly part of the police pension fund, he admitted, before a High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, to have been misappropriated. Justice Tijani Abubakar, in a judgment in an appeal filed by Yusuf, upheld the decision of the Court of Appeal, which in 2018 sent him to 6 years imprisonment, in addition to the refund of a huge sum. Justice Abubakar said that the appeal of a former federal pension director seeking to set aside the 6 years jail term against him was frivolous, vexatious, and devoid of merit. The Apex Court held that Yusuf and others engaging in fraudulent practices must be told through court judgments that it is no longer business as usual. Yusuf had dragged the federal government before the Apex Court, seeking to overturn the 6 years imprisonment slammed on him by the Court of Appeal. The former pensions director, who is serving the 6 years jail term at the Kuje prison, also asked the Supreme Court to set aside the sum of 22.9 billion naira he was ordered to refund the government by the Court of Appeal in a 2018 judgment. To electoral matters, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has published personnel particulars and list of candidates Form EC9 for the Osun State governorship elections scheduled to hold on July 16, 2022. The Commission, in a statement by Festus Okoye, National Commissioner and Chairman, Information and Voter Education Committee, in Abuja said the list was published at INEC state and local government offices in Osun State as required by law. The published candidates include Adeboyega Oyetola of the All Progressives Congress, Adeleke Noruddin of the People's Democratic Party, and Omigbodun Akinrinola of the Social Democratic Party. He, however, reminded political parties that under Section 32, subsection 2 of the Electoral Act 2022, any party that observes that the name of its candidate is missing from the list should notify the Commission in writing. Still to come in the news, Villarreal beats Bayern to reach Champions League's semi-finals. Do stay with us.